And Republic has accessed details of Anil Deshmukh's statement on Param Singh. We've accessed the Anil Deshmukh case charge sheet, and Anil Deshmukh, as per the charge sheet, has said that Param Singh is the mastermind, that he hid the truth in the Deshmukh murder case and in the Antilia case as well. Republic breaking down details, and Shravan Sena, senior associate editor, getting us more on the same. Shravan, over to you. Shravan, take us through the details. Republic has accessed Anil Deshmukh's statement on Param Singh. What does the charge sheet say? All right, before Shravan joins in with more details, on 17th of March, as per this charge sheet, the charge sheet states that on 17th of March 2021, the Chief Minister and him as the Home Minister took a decision to remove Param Singh from the post of Commissioner of Police with immediate effect and posted him as DG Home Guard of Maharashtra. As the then Home Minister, that is Anil Deshmukh, found him the mastermind in the aforesaid matters as he was hiding the truth. So Anil Deshmukh says Param Singh was hiding the truth, that he was the mastermind in the Deshmukh murder case and the Antilia case. Shravan is back with us on the phone line. Shravan, what more does this charge sheet say?
So, Katrina, I'll just come live and show you the documents that we have basically accessed. This is a charge sheet that has been filed by the Enforcement Directorate against the former Maharashtra Home Minister. In fact, we're given to understand in the statement that was recorded by the Enforcement Directorate, he makes a mention of the fact that Param Singh essentially leveled false allegations against him when he was removed on 17th March 2021 from the post of the Commissioner of Mumbai Police. In fact, he says that I say that Param Singh was removed as a Commissioner of Mumbai Police because the names of his very close subordinates, namely API Sachin Vaze and his 4 other colleagues of Commissioner of Police Mumbai, on the grounds of serious allegations with regards to Antilia case and murder case of Sri Mansukh Hiren. Now, in fact, what he goes on to say is that Sachin Vaze and his colleagues in Antilia case were responsible for planting the gelatin sticks in a Scorpio that was belonging to a friend of Sachin Vaze, namely late Sri Mansukh Hiren. Further, I state that Sachin Vaze, along with his 4 other colleagues of CP Office Mumbai, were arrested by NIA on the involvement of planting the gelatin sticks in a vehicle. In fact, Christine, I'll just try and come live right now. We'll just try and fix the line so that I can come to you. Meanwhile, if you...
All right, we'll go back to Shravan, but of what we can make of this Enforcement Directorate charge sheet is that Anil Deshmukh has said that the then Police Commissioner Param Singh was found giving misleading replies and was trying to hide the truth in regards to both the Antilia case and the Mansukh Hiren murder case. And it was noticed that one vehicle, Innova, belonging to the office of Mumbai Police Commissioner, was also used in the aforesaid matter by Sachin Vaze. So these are the details essentially that Republic has accessed of the Enforcement Directorate charge sheet, and the statement of Anil Deshmukh that we keep our focus on, because it says very clearly, as per Anil Deshmukh, Param Singh was the mastermind and he was found giving misleading replies. He was trying to hide the truth, if we go by the details as put out in this charge sheet by Anil Deshmukh. This is what it says. I'm going to quickly quote some of the excerpts of the charge sheet. Anil Deshmukh says that in this regard, I state that I had submitted a written complaint to the Chief Minister of Maharashtra regarding malpractices of the then Home Minister Anil Deshmukh and how he was pressurizing the police officers of Mumbai city. So that's another detail that has been put out in this charge sheet, various versions that Republic has accessed of what has been said by all the parties involved, but most importantly Anil Deshmukh making the statement on Param Singh, saying that On 17th of March, it was the Chief Minister and him as the Home Minister who took the decision to remove Parambir Singh from the post of Mumbai Police Commissioner with immediate effect. They posted him as the DG Home Guard of Maharashtra since they found him to be the mastermind in both the Mansukh Hiren murder case and the Antilia case. A briefing that took place in which he was informed that Parambir Singh was found giving misleading replies and he was trying to hide the truth. Shravan is now joining us live on this broadcast. Shravan, we have a few pages of the charge sheet essentially putting out the details of what Anil Deshmukh has submitted with the Enforcement Directorate. What more can you tell us?
Well, Kitchwin, unlike the other networks, we've accessed the entire charge sheet, which is roughly over 2,000 pages, and we've been going through it. But some of the important news points, as far as this charge sheet that has been filed by the Enforcement Directorate is concerned, is certainly statements of the former Home Minister of Maharashtra, Anil Deshmukh, against whom a case has been registered by the Enforcement Directorate. Remember, he's still behind bars. He's in judicial custody at this point in time as we speak. This is a copy of the very statement that has been recorded by the Enforcement Directorate of Anil Deshmukh. There are statements of former Mumbai Police Commissioner Param Singh, but remember, in that particular statement, we'll come to it in a short while from now. But what is very important to point out is that here is a clear admission by the Maharashtra government as far as the role of Parambir Singh is concerned. The fact of the matter is that we are looking at how the duo of Sachin Vaze and Parambir Singh operated in Mumbai when they were at the helm of affairs. Important to point out here is that Sachin Vaze has now been arrested by the National Investigation Agency as far as his role in the Mansukh Hiren murder case is concerned, and not just that, also planting a bomb outside Antilia. Keeping that in mind, you've had many questions being raised about role of Parambir Singh, because after all of this happened when Parambir Singh was the Mumbai Police Commissioner. So a very justified, legitimate question to ask is that what was Parambir Singh really doing when Sachin Vaze was carrying out with his nefarious activities in Mumbai? Wasn't the Mumbai Police Commissioner aware of it? Now here comes the answer. This is directly from the then Home Minister of Maharashtra, Anil Deshmukh, who says that whatever allegations that Parambir Singh has levelled against me are false. He was removed on 17th March from the post of Commissioner of Mumbai Police. I state that Parambir Singh was removed as Commissioner of Mumbai Police because the names of his very close subordinates, namely API Sachin Vaze and his 4 other colleagues from Commissioner of Police Mumbai, on the grounds of serious allegations with regard to Antilia case and murder case of Mansukh Hiren. The second page, in which they've written that Sachin Vaze and his colleagues in Antilia case was, they had planted the gelatin sticks in the Scorpio belonging to a friend of Sachin Vaze named Mansukh Hiren. I state that Sachin Vaze, along with his 4 other colleagues of CP Office Mumbai, were arrested by NI on the involvement of planting the gelatin sticks in the vehicle Scorpio in front of Antilia and murder of Mansukh Hiren. I state that when the assembly session was going on, Parambir Singh, the then Commissioner of Police, was called for briefing in this matter inside Vidhan Bhavan, where I was the Home Minister of Maharashtra State and senior officers of Home Department. He's listed out all the people who were there in the meeting, and in which he says that Parambir Singh, the then Commissioner of Mumbai, was found giving misleading replies with regard to 2 incidents. One is Antilia gelatin case and the murder of Mansukh Hiren. I state that after discussing the matter with the Honorable Chief Minister, the above said 2 matters given for inquiry to ATS Maharashtra. Therefore, thereafter, a few days later, briefing at the Chief Minister's residence, wherein the Chief Minister, I along with the Chief Secretary of Maharashtra, namely Sitaram Kunte and Senior Officer Home Department were present. During the briefing, it is found that Parambir Singh was again giving misleading replies and was trying to hide the truth. During the briefing, it was noticed that 1 vehicle belonging to the office of the Commissioner of Police was used in this matter. So it's very clear from the statement that has been recorded of Anil Deshmukh by the Enforcement Directorate, as far as Parambir Singh is concerned. This is something that we've been asking for a while now. In fact, the National Investigation Agency, who hasn't recorded the statement of Parambir Singh, and to everyone's mind, The question has been that despite this mounting evidence against the former Mumbai Police Commissioner, why hasn't he really been called in for questioning? Let me bring in Swapnil Kothari on this broadcast. Swapnil, Anil Deshmukh's statement has now been accessed. In that statement, he makes a mention of the fact that he was removed from the position of the Commissioner of Police because, one, he was misleading the government at that point in time as far as the Antilia case is concerned. Questions certainly could also be raised about the conduct of the Maharashtra government at that point in time, but the fact of the matter is that Param Singh's role, once again, is under the spotlight.
Well, Shravan, it's absolutely clear from this that from Mr. Deshmukh's statement, he has made it very clear that Mr. Param Singh's role as the Commissioner of Police handling the Antilia case was absolutely unsatisfactory. Now, we all know the reason possibly behind it because Mr. Waze was also involved in that. So perhaps there was some sort of a quid pro quo where there was an understanding that this should not be going the way it needs to go to its logical conclusion. Now, if on the basis of that statement also and all the other things that were there in the public domain, if the government came to a conclusion that he needs to be suspended, that was an appropriate decision by the government. Now, in my opinion, as I've been saying all along, that is not satisfactory. You need to go ahead. The NIA should have gone ahead and made him an accused and possibly called him for interrogation, and depending upon what he would say or what he would not say, they would have gone ahead and taken the logical step next thereafter, possibly to call him, to put him under arrest, along with the rest of the three people that they put at that point in time. But now that they have not done that, the ball, they have left it to the state government. Now the state government has taken a suspension call. Also, the Supreme Court order has vacated the injunction that was there against the investigating authorities that they should not go ahead and arrest Mr. Param Singh. Now, any investigating agency which is investigating this case, whichever that may be, whether it's the central or the state, is in a position to further call him for custodial interrogation and if need be take any further steps that are necessary as far as this particular case is concerned or any of the cases that they have been investigating or that are under their jurisdiction. Now, Shravan, having said that, it is very imperative that if these things need to go ahead, they need to be taken in a very serious manner and they need to be taken very seriously. Otherwise, it becomes extremely difficult and it just becomes a mere hogwash and a whitewash as far as this particular case is concerned, that this is all optics and this is not reaching its logical conclusion. So, all these things, now that this statement has been accessed, it's better that, and I'm glad that the Republic TV is showing all these things, then, it will, obviously throw some spotlight onto the investigating agencies again as to whether they're doing a satisfactory job or not.
Well, thank you very much, Swapnil Kothari. Like always, we have been exposing the role of former Mumbai Police Commissioner Param Singh is concerned whenever you've had some of those sensational cases which have been unearthed and certainly put the Mumbai police in bad light.